Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today we have something extremely important that we need to talk about. As I'm sure you're all aware, California has already regulated the Second Amendment to its breaking point. There is no more wiggle room. Well, with that being said, California just introduced a new bill that would essentially eliminate the Second Amendment across the state altogether. So today we need to talk about AB 1187, what it is and what it does. If you know anybody that this might affect, make sure that you share this one out because it is important that we stop this one now. So let's get to it. Now, before we get started, if you're watching this video and you have not yet subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button. We are on a push to hit 600,000 subscribers, and I couldn't do any of it without your help. The thumbs up is always appreciated, and that little alarm bell will let you know when new videos come out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about AB 1187. Now, like I was saying in the beginning, the Second Amendment is already hanging on by a thread in the state of California. If you wanted to get yourself something right now, you'd have to jump through multiple hoops in order to do so. You'd have to get your FSC. You'd have to choose from a state-approved roster. You'd have to pick from things that are not banned by state law. You'd have to wait 10 days. As a matter of fact, there are over 100 gun control laws that exist in the state of California as of right now. So it is already extremely difficult just to practice that fundamental right that is supposed to be protected by our Constitution. Now, AB 1187 adds on to that by taking something that should exist as a right and turns it into a privilege that's granted by the government, because 1187 is a permit to purchase law. This would take your FSC, your firearm safety certificate, and turn it from a simple test, which is already completely unconstitutional to begin with. You should not have to take a test to practice a right. You don't have to take a test to practice your First Amendment right or any other right for that matter, so you shouldn't have to take it for your second. But it expands on that by making you do other requirements. Now, if AB 1187 passes, these new requirements to get your updated FSC would apply to anybody who purchases or receives a firearm in the state of California, or anybody that moves into California with arms. If you move into the state, you have 60 days to get this new FSC. But this also means that even if you're somebody who just inherits something or something was passed down to you, you would have to get the new FSC in order to just simply receive it. So this is something that you would have to have just for basic ownership to practice your Second Amendment rights. But as one of the new requirements, you would have to undergo 8 hours of training prior to getting that certificate. Now, that 8 hours of training is actually pretty intensive. There is a list here that will show you everything that has to be taught to you in that class. Now, this training does include live fire practice at the range. So you would actually have to qualify now to practice your constitutionally protected right. So that's why I say that this completely eliminates it, because somebody who never owned anything before, just gets something handed down, couldn't have that thing handed down to them. Let's say they're elderly, right? But something gets passed down in a will. They wouldn't be able to receive that. They wouldn't be able to have that unless they were able to pass this course. So there's going to be new fees, there's going to be a new course, there's going to be training, there's going to be costs for that course that are going to be incurred, time is going to be spent to take that course. There is a lot going on here. Now, in this bill, California makes it very clear that you are the one that's going to be covering all of the extra expenses that are going to be incurred by the state. So if the state has specific administrative fees that need to be covered for you to get that new FSC, you're going to have to pay those administrative fees, any other administrative fees, on top of the existing, 30% tax that you're going to be paying because of that new 11% tax that was just added on last year. You're going to have to pay an exorbitant amount just to get that FSC. And again, that's before even just receiving anything. So basically, if you want to practice your right in the state of California, it's not going to be allowed if this bill passes unless you have a government approved license. That's pretty much it. This is now a permit to practice a right. The right itself would be gone. You wouldn't have that right anymore. It would only be a privilege granted by the state of California. Now, I want to thank the GOC, the Gun Owners of California, for bringing this to light, because this is something that we have to stop now. Absolutely have to stop this one. You guys need to make sure that you are contacting your representatives at the state capitol and letting them know that you 100% oppose this bill. This bill cannot be allowed to pass. Now, we know that the Dems basically own a supermajority in the California state legislature. They obviously have, the governor's office. So they have everything that they need in order to get this through. And I can guarantee you that this is a bill that they like. This is, right up their alley. So there is nothing stopping them other than your voice from just pushing this all the way through. And you could almost be assured that the governor would sign it. So again, now is the time to step up to make sure that this thing just becomes dead in the water right now. Obviously, if it does pass, the lawsuits are just going to start flying. This is clearly unconstitutional. But as you know, lawsuits take forever. We're still waiting on Duncan. We're still waiting on cases that have been going through the California court system now for the better part of a decade, and we still don't have relief in those cases. They just sit up at the Ninth Circuit after they've been appealed multiple times. So this is something that we have to make sure does not get to that point. So I wanted to share it with you, and I want you guys to share this with as many people as possible to make this topic as well known as possible to people in California, because this is going to affect people that don't live there as well. Again, if you don't live there and you're moving there and you have anything, you're going to have to go through this process as well just to bring that stuff in. So again, an extremely important one. 1187 needs to be stopped. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thumbs ups are always appreciated. And again, that little alarm bell will let you know when I drop my next video. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.